Been talking so
Good
much.
evening, family and friends. Welcome to From the Battle to the Glory. Yes, we are here and we have a special guest with us today. Melissa B is in the building, y'all. Yes, she is here in the building. And before we get into our topic, I want her to introduce herself and let everybody know who she is and where you can find her. Listen, Melissa B, let them know where you at.
Hello, everybody. Am I freezing up, y'all? I'm good.
You good? We can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay. Yes. Yeah. Well, I do have a YouTube channel. It's me, Lisa B. Um, you can follow me there. I do have Instagram 229 Melissa B. But for the most part, most of my content is on my YouTube channel, and I just consider a kickback. I consider myself a lifestyle channel because I share all things, and sometimes I do some reactions and just it's really like a kickback. Like if you're going to your posts, or you going to the Elks Lodge to hang out with your friends. So that's why I call all my subscribers, everybody that hangs out with me, my sub shines. And when we come hang out, you're at the Shine House.
I know that's real. Go
Mhm.
ahead. All right, that's what I'm talking about. And listen, don't get shy now because that's not the energy. That energy when I first saw you. There you go. That's what I'm
I
talking
got
about.
it. I got it. I got it. I got it.
That's what I'm talking
So
about.
let me let my subscribers know. So I can come, they can come to your channel, Chef Dennis, but it's at From the Battle to Glory, right? If they just type it in YouTube.
Yeah, it's at sign from the battle to the glory.
So y'all hear that? So it's at From the Battle to Glory. Okay. So I want y'all to come over to Chef Dennis's channel and y'all can watch the podcast and see, and y'all can get y'all laughs and all that because y'all know I'm a little different over here.
Tell,
And
tell them. Let them know. You
yes, there's some on the
say,
podcast. I want you guys to come over there
yeah, come
and
on.
check me out. I told y'all we got the Shine House is where we take it. So I need y'all to come on over here, type in at From the Battle to Glory or type in Chef Dennis. Okay. So
At
I
well, they
catch
got
you
to
on
put
the
look, and they got to put at Chef Dennis dash 32, and
at Chef Dennis 32.
it's gonna come in the algorithm real quick. But
So
listen,
Chloe, remember on my community page, I shared his channel. If you can go there and put the link in here. And y'all just join me, okay? All right. Okay. Go
here
ahead. I'm sorry.
I got one better for you. Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
You gonna put it in there? Okay.
Yeah, there we go.
All y'all podcasters, I tell you, y'all be doing it.
I mean,
Y'all be
listen,
y'all be about your business, podcasting, okay?
I mean, look, listen. That's how we do. You know what I mean? But the Melissa B she got that energy like I got that energy. So she bring high energy, laughter, smiles. I don't know anybody could go on her page and not smile. If you got that, if you don't got a smile, I'm pretty sure you're not going on her page. You gotta have a smile when you go to her page. You gonna have to because she bring that energy. It's like love. You know what I'm saying? You when you smell those roses and you like, it smells good. For those who like roses, man, I'm not trying to be funny. I'm being serious.
Right,
That's
right,
the
right.
type of energy she brings and that's the type of what I'm saying excitement when she bring her conversation to people. And so that's why I love it. That's why I follow and subscribe to her channel is because I love the energy. It's the positivity. I love it. So that's the big thing about it's the positivity. I'm all about positive. I'm really into that negativity, and she
Right.
brings that positive energy.
Thank
So
you.
with that being said, let's jump right into the topic. I got these two lovely ladies here. They might be on my back, on my heels, but listen, we going in.
Mm-hmm.
Why do men and women live together before they get married? So since we have our lovely guest, Melissa B, can you talk about that? Let's elaborate on that a little bit. Tell me on both levels, why do you think men and women live together before they get married? Talk the story. Tell us.
Wow. I thought it was this is an interesting topic, okay? Because I did it. I did it. Long time ago, and I would say I'm not opposed to doing it if it happens now. So I think the now for me, I think it's economical. I think it's economical, and I think too that the value of marriage is different today for a lot of the generation, the newer generations. And for me, if I did it, it would be economical. And two, I mean, I've been I've been divorced a few times, so it's like it'll be easier to split than to, it's like I want to try my shoes on before I buy them. And I mean,
Oh, here we go. Yeah. Go ahead. I'm gonna
I understand.
Look,
Okay,
I'm-
Melissa
listen.
B. I understand.
So in other words, you saying you would do it for comfortability, comfortable, security,
right.
easy, familiar.
Yeah. I truly believe my thing would be economically, because I talk about that sometimes. I'm like, man, so I don't want to do this by myself all the time. We live in these times where economically you pretty much need two incomes. You can be making six figures and you still need two incomes sometimes.
Based on your lifestyle, you mean? That's what you're saying?
Yeah, based on my lifestyle.
Not yours. I'm just saying.
Yeah, my lifestyle, based on your lifestyle, like in general. That.
Okay, so all right, so we gonna get right to it.
Come
so
on.
if finance is the issue, right?
Mm-hmm.
What happens to the love part? How important is that? I mean, you said financially, right? So where does the love fall in the bracket of the relationship or the getting into that marriage? What does that fall into?
Good question. Well, let me tell you, baby, I've married for love already. So I've married for love already. So it's like it's right now. It would be more like all of the above, but that is top on my list. But I understand what you're saying, because I can say that, I do have daughters. Maybe they're not watching me, hopefully not, but they are doing it as well. And two, I think another reason is people do want to co-parent and they want to parent their children. So the children are coming before these marriages. But when it comes to that love part, we gonna do that too. We gonna love each other too, but we gonna get this money and we gonna spend this money together.
Economic reasons. The
When
economic.
you ask me about the love, because it's like, baby, I done gave a lot of that.
Okay, so look, so now that you said you didn't gave the love, but I'm saying on the scale of, she said, hey, okay, in the building. Somebody that one of your sunshines, Cash Honey, is in the building, y'all. So listen, so I'm saying, like, now that you single, right? Where is the love part? How does it fall, and how do you incorporate that? Does that come first, or you want to see how much money they make, and then after, let's say they're making good money, right? They're making good money. You're like, oh, okay, y'all going out, y'all doing those type of things, right? But his character don't fit you. Now what? But his money is right, but his character is off.
Now, look, it's not going to be just because I want somebody to stay with me because they got a little bad, because I got a little changed purse myself. So I guess I need to clear that up. But no, now the character, all of that, I got to know too that I can even be around a person. And that's when I think that comes with when I said, like, I want to try my shoes on before I buy them. Like, they look good in this box. The sale is amazing. But when I put them on, sometimes you put them on and they cute, but when you get to walking in them shoes, they hurt.
Okay,
baby, them shoes start hurting your feet, and then you get to rethinking it, and then sometimes you shelve them. Sometimes you think about returning them. It's the same, I think.
No, it's definitely not the same, because guess
No.
what?
I'm just
no. I know you are, but because look, marriage is something difficult,
right?
So it takes a lifetime to get to know a person. You just
Mhm.
even if you get married a person, it still takes a lifetime to get to know them, because guess what? We all change. And when I say change, we change as we get older. You know what I'm saying? Our minds change. You know, the way we think, our wisdom, we get wisdom. That's if you are inclined to be with, you know, have wisdom. You know, some people just want to stay in their childish ways. But when you, as you get older, you change. Your body changes. The look changes. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I'm asking you, where did the love part, you know, where did the love part falls
But
in?
now I definitely, there will be some love there. There will be love there.
Lady, why you laughing?
I
But
am
okay,
enjoying this conversation.
okay.
I'm
Now.
listening to Melissa B, and I'm just like, that's interesting. Yeah, but I
Okay.
feel her. I do. I'm the same as her. You know, I cannot say to a person that I would not suggest it. Honestly, I am a person that would encourage it. I think that living with somebody to know if you are compatible with them for marriage, yeah, I think that that's best. You got to try it on. You got to put the slippers on. Make sure they comfy. They stick on your feet the way you want them to stick on your feet, or they smooth. You know, it has to be perfect. You have to try it out. Now, I mean, look, there are relationships that I have not been around, and I do not know many of them that were, you know, you have your house, I have my house. I've seen and heard on television, but not around me. Okay. Nobody I know has that type of relationship where they lived in their house, you know, separately and did not come together and put their resources together. You know, that's what Melissa was talking about. Like we do that a lot because we need to know, are you a good person to have a life with every day and put our money together and you know, say we're going to be together for the rest of our life? You are making a big decision. So I'm a person that says yes to it.
Okay, now, okay. I feel both of y'all, but you know what? I feel like that's the easy way out. Because you know what? There's other ways you can be disciplined to learn how this person operates. And I'm gonna show you why I said that. Now listen, we live in a time, yes, we do live in a time that people want it easily. They want it instant. They don't really want to work at it. Right? Now listen, let's say you got a man, Lady T and Melissa B. You got a man, he got a good job. Sometimes you pop up at his job, say, look, I want to have lunch. Let's have lunch. You know what I'm saying? And now you could really see it's pop-up time. Pop up. You know what I'm saying? And now you can see how he works, how he carry himself. You know what I'm saying? These are the things that it shows. You know what I'm saying? These are the things you got to work at. You know what I mean? Before you, nobody said nothing about their religion or their faith.
Nah, that has nothing to do with it because I don't believe that just because if I'm a Christian, I shouldn't be living with my man. I don't believe everything that was said. I'm sorry. We didn't have this conversation.
Girl,
I don't believe everything that
my son-in-law right now.
I mean, I don't. So I just, for my life, I live the way I live. And I don't say the things that, you know, you should do for your life. I'm going to stay in my lane. I feel like everybody should stay in their lane. If this is my lane, I say respect. Because this is who I am, and I like to test waters. And yes, I have been in relationships knowing it did not work. But I'm okay with that. It's like, I'll keep going. I'll keep trying because I have no problem failing until I get it right, until I get the right one. That's how I see it.
So let me ask you something.
There's not a challenge. When you're saying about living with somebody for a challenge to see if you could do it, to discipline yourself, that's not really discipline in my mind. I look at it as, you know, okay, what are you doing? You're basically denying yourself of what? The affection and love, you know, companionship with a person because you want to prove a point to yourself and to others. I'm not trying to prove nothing. I'm not here to prove anything to anybody but myself. Do you get what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying. But look, guess what? When you wake up in the morning, right? And you make a decision. Why is that decision? Why is it so hard for you to make that decision then? You have to make a decision whether or not this person is the right person, right? You got to make a decision. So you say, look, in that decision making, I'm gonna do X, Y, and Z so I can make the wiser decision, and that's living with somebody before you get married, right?
So for me, when I decide I would like to live with somebody, I have reasons that are good. Like, I can see myself living with this person. I'm not going to just pick anybody and be like, oh, I pick you. We've been dating for a little bit. Let's get together. No, I don't do that. But it's can I live with the person? I will try it out. Now, don't get me wrong. There was one relationship that I definitely jumped in without knowing a lot, and we tried. It was, we tried. It didn't work out, but we're still good. We're still friends. But the point is that I will most of the time be with somebody that I know that I would love to be with, want to stay in the relationship and live with them. I think that that's how I move. I'm not going to just jump in to say, oh, let's buy a place together or get a place together, lease a place together, and just let's try it out. No, I'm going to have to decide if I even want you in my corner like that, even want you around me every day, to wake up and look at your face in the morning. Like, those are things that really matter. Do I want to smell you every day? Do I want to be around that type of environment where, okay, thank you.
Melissa B, what's up? You go ahead, chime in. Go ahead. Don't be scared.
Yes, no, I'm listening to her, and it's like, yeah, I do. I mean, I don't. The reality, a lot of people aren't getting married. Okay, I'm 45 years old, okay? And a lot of people aren't. I just feel like a lot of men around that age and my age of acceptance, they've already been there, done that. Not first timers. The men are not as interested in remarrying as women. And also, then our pickings are slim. We're limited. We're limited amount of men. And so what happens is you get in this thing like, hey, do you want to be single for the rest of your life just because this person doesn't want to marry you? And it's like, there are people now that I've dated, and I'm like, hey, like, yeah, I want to wake up to them next. I want to wake up next to them every day. I want to see them every day. But the reality of it is, no, that ain't the person. That's not your person. And what happened is you get married. I'm gonna give you a true story. We're not gonna do scenarios. I got married to somebody. We knew of each other. We knew each other because of our circle. And 2 weeks dating, I married him. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we didn't move in until after. We weren't living together when all that happened. But I mean, and I'm not married now. We're not together. And the thing about it at that time, because it was beautiful, that's that whole little, the smoke hadn't settled anyway. That was crazy of me. But I think because I had this thing in my mind, like, I don't want to be single forever. And let's do this right. And I'm gonna tell you, I put up with a lot of ish from this man because I felt like, okay, I'm gonna do this because I prayed for this. Okay. And so if we want to do it, we want to talk about it, and we want to bring the Christianity in it and all of that. I feel like, oh, you know what? This is what I prayed for. But you got to be careful to some of the things that you do pray for. But this is what, so as I got this man, he asked me, I'm saying yes, and I'm gonna do this. And then we get together, and no. It was when once the smoke settles, then you see who that person is. And I think that's that's one of the reasons why I wouldn't actually tell everybody, like, hey, everybody that you see that you want to be with, hey, y'all live together. I wouldn't do that, but it's like, for me, it's from my experiences. And no, like, people more now, like, we gonna shack up first, boo. And then it's like, hey, if I'm not feeling you, like, it'd have been a whole lot cheaper and a whole lot less stressful for me if I would have shacked up with old boy instead of like, oh my gosh, he asked me and I think he was drunk anyway. So, it's like, oh, he asked me to marry him. And I was like, oh yes, like, this is what I wanted. I don't want to be single forever. And then it was almost a living hell. And I put up with it because I kept telling myself, I was like, no, because I know I don't want to be divorced again. I don't want to go through this. And this is what I prayed for. And I got to go through this. And I'm like, no, I don't want to do it like that no more. I really don't. But now I'm not opposed to get married again. But I would definitely live together before I do it again.
All right. So here's the thing. Let's say you live with a person, right? Y'all been together for 5 years, right?
Living together,
Now,
we just dating.
no, I'm just saying y'all living together. Let's just say you living together with a person 5 years, right?
Okay.
So y'all doing all the good stuff, all sex, spending, doing all the type of stuff. Now, after the 5 years is up, now things are getting sour. Now you ready to bail. He ready to bail. Now y'all go y'all separate ways. Guess what? Now you spent 5 years with this person, living with this person. Now y'all go y'all separate ways. Now guess what? After you done that, now you go and you don't want to be, not you. I'm not talking directly to you.
Yeah.
Now you go into another relationship, and now you go and live with another person that you think that is the right person that has potential. And now you go into that relationship. Guess what? You might be, heartbroken from the other one, the previous one. And now you go into another one, live with another person. And now guess what? Now you spend 10 years with that person. 15 years of your life has gone away. That's your choice. But how do you make the better decision? How do you come to the conclusion? You know what? Maybe it's me making the wrong choices for the wrong reasons. Why you shake your head, Lady T?
Oh, it just drives me crazy. I don't know. No, it does. It really does. Okay, so look, I have no problem. I have a lot of men in my life, exes, right? And I have a lot of pictures of all these exes of mine because I've had 7 years, 5 years, 10 years, 2 years. Like I've had years of my men that are my exes. And when I look back, I'm like, I remember that. I remember him. I remember him. And I remember him. I don't need longevity. I don't need it. What I need is companionship. And if I have it with one person, it doesn't work out, I will go to the next and be happy because I'm not going to ruin my life just because I can't have one relationship that's forever. I can't. You guys, I'm saying you guys, chef, when you are talking, you are basically saying that marriage is for everybody. It's meant to be for everybody. And it's not true. People do want to be with one person. I think that is majority of us, but many of us don't have the longevity of one relationship forever. So enjoy your life. If you have a life with somebody who is in your life for 2, 3 years, 5 years, 7 years, enjoy it. And then if you have to end it, say, so sorry, you were great while we lasted. And I'm going to move on because I got life in me and there's another one that's waiting for me. So what's wrong with that? There's nothing wrong with it. Why should I be ashamed of it? So why should I be talked down on it? So why should I sit up here and be told, oh, well, you're living wrong and you should have one man and you should be married forever? I'm on a roll. I know.
Get it, lady. Get it.
But okay, look, lady T. So I guess it's a hot topic for you. But listen, check us out though. Okay, I'm respecting everything that you're saying. I'm respecting it. But here's the thing: when you leave that person, reality says something happened in that relationship. That means something is broken. And guess what? Whether it be the man or the female, which one? And guess what? That brokenness.
It's not gonna break because we're married.
No.
Is it not gonna break because I got married before I moved in?
When you married?
What I'm saying is, you're saying something went wrong. It's gonna break. So
no, I'm talking about when you're in a relationship and you separate.
Yeah. So if we're living together, you got to ask yourself, well, hey, something broke. But we were able to get out of that because we were able to separate from that situation. We weren't married. But that's why I'm asking you, are you saying that it's not going to break because we were married? We got married before we moved in together?
No, when you get married, right? You say your vows. Of course, right. Now, guess what? In a relationship, there is no vows. You can leave as you please. Yes, exactly. But now in a marriage, it's a covenant. But not only a covenant, guess what? I devoted my life to not only serve and protect you, and vice versa, the woman.
Right.
You decided to listen. I decide to love this man for the rest of my life. So it's more than just saying it's a relationship. Of course, it's a relationship, but now it's a devotion. Guess what? We gonna understand that's gonna be tough times. We gonna go through the trenches together. I'm not gonna like you every day. I'm like, man, I don't want to talk to you right now. You will get on my nerves. I'm gonna be able to say that to my wife. We gonna go in the trenches and we gonna go there together. And guess what? When we come out, we gonna come out together. Hold on, I got somebody made a comment.
Yes, Nola. But I don't know. I like to be booed up sometimes. So I'm just
thank you. Forever. You can't even spend the
night at my house. I know that's right.
But,
I understand.
But look what she said. See what I'm saying? And that's
don't want to be married.
Look, no, she said I'm a date for the rest. She said date for the rest of my life.
And she said I never wanted to be married. At the end. So that's the type of people that just love where they're at. They don't want marriage. And some people want to, shack up. Those that want to shack up, and there's nothing wrong with it. It's all about, finances. If you can live your life on your own, great. Live your life on your own. But if you want to be with somebody and shack up for a little bit and just be like, look, we just going to do this for a little bit of time and see how it work. We might not go get all the way, but we're going to just spend some time and do this and see how it goes. And if you're okay with that, then see how it go. But everybody doesn't get married when they shack up all the time. And you don't really have to be married to shack up. I believe that with all my heart. I've said this over and over. So
look, and I get that.
We are different.
Yeah. I'm built different. Yeah, I'm built different. Go ahead.
Chef.
Talk to me.
So let's get back to a statement you made about we're gonna be married. We got this covenant. But let's not forget it's holy matrimony, right? Us getting married, getting this piece of paper, that's a legal binding contract, right?
Okay.
So I feel, so why can't, if I decide, because see, and then that's what's like, I don't know how deep you want me to get, but I can kind of go there.
Man, so get deep.
Yes. So the thing about it is if we're going to be like, we have to get married, we have to have this covenant, we have to have these vows, I understand that. But we made this decision living together, and who is there to say for society and anybody else on the outside looking in that we don't have this holy matrimony? Because I never read anywhere in the Bible that I needed to go to the courthouse and spend all this money to get a piece of paper and a document, and then I pay $40 to get in it, and I got to pay $5,000 to get out. That right there, that's a legal binding contract. So why can't I stand here and me and my man pray before the Lord, and we ask him to bless our union in this home while we living together?
I'm waiting to finish. Come on, keep
going. Okay.
I got one for you. Hold on, I got one for you.
And we gonna be good up in here. And that's and so it's like all of that is for everybody else, because that was a holy matrimony. We did it our way. And like, who's to say, like, what if I'm like ordained and I'm not, but I'm sitting here and I got to be like, okay, well, baby, we gonna do this. We gonna make this agreement. And we gonna tough it out. We love each other. And in the eyes of and he see that. He see we love each other, and we doing this. And we made our promise to each other that we gonna come in here. We gonna love on each other. We ain't gonna be loving on other people. Okay, we're gonna get these bills paid together. We're gonna take these trips together, because these were the type of things that was decided upon before I decided to make this shack up decision. But sometimes I feel that we get so caught up in the judgments of others, and instead of doing what makes us happy, because at the end of the day, I don't answer to anybody but him. Okay. So, I'm a pause, and then let me let you get in. Okay.
So Lady T don't want to really do no talking. That she said you better get in here. But listen, all right. First, let's go. What you said about the petition about marriage. In the Bible, since you mentioned the Bible, right? The Bible, it states that if adultery is committed, then you can give a woman divorce. That's a decree. That's a decree that you, so that's paperwork. So now we live in a different time, right? We live in a different time and a different age. So that is a paper that you need to show that you're married. It's not about the public, it's not about the government, because you have made a public decree saying that this is my wife, this is my husband. And then it also, you carry my last name. You know what I'm saying? So now it shows that we are one publicly. Yes, you have a covenant with God, but listen, how do now when we in the world, right, and we do things politically, right? How do you determine who you are? How do you determine that? Other than, let's say you don't go to the courts, let's say you don't get married, you don't have a petition, you don't have paperwork to say you get married, and now you say, oh, this is my husband. How do you have proof? Because of your word of your mouth. So it's proof that states that, and it's a seal that says, this is my wife. Her name is Melissa Porterfield. Right. You understand what I'm saying? So Lady T Porterfield. It's a signed agreement stating that this is my wife, and it's paperwork saying that this is my wife politically. So that's the reason why they have paperwork, so it can be politically correct. You got taxes you have to pay. How do we pay our taxes? Now we pay our taxes as a whole, separate, married, head of household. These are the laws that we have to abide by. And so the laws of the land states that you have to have these documents. So when you do those things, when you buy a house, when you buy things in your name, guess what? It shows documentation of this is my husband, because people can say y'all married, but not legally married. So that's what the paper is for.
Okay, let's get to your public thing. Lady T, I'm gonna give you a minute, but you said we have to publicly, and this is where, and I don't speak about Christianity as much and about the Bible, but I do know that a lot of the decision of us living together, the controversy is because we didn't get married first, and we know where that came from. Okay, but you saying, okay, well, they were able to publicly say, because you brought up the adultery thing, so we publicly say, so that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna be like, this my man. This is my man. And that's why, and see, once again, that's why it gets even deeper with why we have more people living together today, because we, when I say people, not speaking for everybody, but because the addition and the subtraction you just did to this Bible, that a man, you heard me? That a man he put together, and I don't know if he left some out or put some extra in it, right? When he translated this. But now what we're
hold on. But listen, what you talking about? What translate what? What you talking about? What?
I like that. That was it.
If all this was chiseled in scribes and on tablets and shit. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
No. Stop. You be yourself. Be yourself.
This version, right? This King James version that we're told, this is what we're going to go by. That our heavenly, for this is it, right? It's nothing in there that said this, and so it's like, oh, we got to do it politically. We have to do it the right political way. They were able to publicly say, "This my man, this my woman, and we gonna do this." And you get what I'm saying? Yeah, so okay. Now you're saying we're going to do this because now, in order for us to publicly, because the law of the land, right? That's worldly. That's worldly, right? I thought we weren't supposed to be of the world.
All right. So let me ask you a question then. Since you said it like that, right? Let's keep it real and funky. All right. No, seriously.
And okay. I'm cool with that.
Look, let's say you bought a house.
Right.
Right? Mm-hmm. And now y'all dating, y'all bought a house together, y'all living together, right? Mm-hmm. So now, guess what? Now you guys got to fight it out. You got to battle it out.
Mm-hmm.
This is your house, and now guess what? Does it cause a conflict, a nasty conflict?
Yeah.
Now if you was married, it would be listen, half, no matter what. Right? So why is it that so different? I'm asking you the question. Why is that so different? That's just something small. You buy a house with somebody you just live with,
Mm-hmm.
versus you being married to somebody and buy a house, and now you guys want to get a divorce, and now guess what? Everything is, if it's legitimately correct, now you guys want to separate and go your separate ways. Why is it so different?
Because you're saying because I'm choosing to live with this person, because the same decision to is if I chose not to buy a home with this person.
No, that's
because I don't want them type of problems in the end. And I do want to say something to respond to a comment. No, I didn't say we aren't believing the Bible. That's why I don't really talk about stuff like that. But I'm not believing the adding and subtracting. I just wanted to say that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it's not that I don't believe the Bible. Believe in the Bible. I believe in God.
Wow.
And I get that could be, but I just wanted to say that. But no, me and T look, we good. I was just saying that.
Oh, but listen, somebody said, I think marriage only benefits men. Wow. That's deep. That's deep.
It was all man.
So? Do tell, lady.
Yeah, because when you said the law of the land, I was like, that's exactly it. It is all about the law of the land. We are living in the land, and we have all these laws. We talk about the Bible. The Bible had over, in the Jewish, before, it was like over 600 laws that they had to abide by, and nobody could remember them. And Jesus came for a reason to say something else. The law, a real law, is love. So I don't really, listen to a whole bunch of what the law of the land is. What you're talking about is if somebody, buys a house together and you're not married, you're going to have to just sort out the house. If you're married, you're going to have to sort out everything. It's about laws, and if you want to be in a relationship with somebody and not be a part of the common common law is actually a law too, if you live together out a certain amount of time for certain states. So they have laws for everything, but some people don't want to abide by certain laws, and it's okay not to live by certain laws. We don't have to live by the law of not participating. That's what it is. If you don't want to participate in it, you don't have to abide by it. Nothing on that. Participation matters. You want to participate in driving, you got to abide by those laws. There are laws when you want to get out and get a vehicle. When you want to buy a house, you will abide by those laws. You don't have to participate. You don't have to have a house and buy a house. You can go lease a house and abide by those laws. You can go live with somebody else and have a law of their house when you're living with somebody else, because it's their laws. It's always laws. It's about your participation of what you want to participate in.
And guess what?
There's certain things I just, say
you don't want to participate in. That's certain
things I don't want to participate. I look, I'm not saying that I'm not going to get married again. I'm not saying I won't be in a relationship and live with a man again. I know that I will. It's bound to happen. But the point is that I'm not going to be worried about it, shame myself, be concerned to sit up here and just be all about, you're wrong, you shouldn't do that. I'm not trying to hear that either. I will smack you down. That's not what I'm trying to hear in my life. You can't bring that to me, because I know there's no way in the world you paying my bills. Okay, so you have no right to say a thing.
So let me ask you something, Lady. What is your blueprint to telling somebody to have a successful marriage?
How can I tell anybody to have a successful marriage when I don't even know one that really exists? I don't have nobody I know that has successful marriage. A success is what you make it. Let me just finish what I want to say. Success is what you make it. And people always think they have success, and I don't think it's successful when I look at it. So everybody's perception is different. I don't see success as longevity either, because if you're dysfunctional in your house and not really showing love, and you've been living together for 50, 25, 30 years, I don't care. That has nothing to do with it. That's not successful to me. That's like phonery. Like that's like, your phony. That's the word, phony. You're phony trying to make it seem like you're successful and is imitating something that you really want to be. So how can I say anything? My point is, I'm not going to judge. So I'm going to try my best not to judge anything, but I'm going to judge myself and say what's good for me. But I will tell you what I will say for what I think is best for other people too. Yeah, give it a try. If I like smoking cigarettes, I'm going to say, yeah, give cigarettes a try too. I'm not going to tell you it's bad for your health. You figure it out. Like, I'm not here to tell you what to do for your life. This is your life. Figure it out. This is your body. You need to learn. I'm not going to sit up here and be your person to, guide you and hold your hand. I'm not Jesus, and I'm not trying to be. I'm trying to be a friend and show you some love. If it's pleasurable for you and you enjoy it, enjoy it. Enjoy it, honey.
Mm. Mm-hmm. Well, guess what? Lady T and Melissa B, I'm very much different. I am a living example of striving to be the best husband. The show that is possible that you can have a good marriage. Okay. And so let me give you a little insight about how I did. Everybody got their own way of doing things and their desires and they wants. So before me and my wife got married, right? I prayed, I consecrated, you know what I'm saying? And I was like, Lord, I don't want to live like that no more. Yeah, I was dibbing and dabbing, doing all the type of stuff. But I was like, I don't want to live like that. So in my choosing my wife, I wanted my wife to be a woman of God, right? Mm-hmm. So, but we didn't live together. We didn't even date. But I didn't want to make a decision based on my flesh, based on my desires at once. Because like I said, I was out there 25 and up, just sleeping, just doing what I want to do, right? But guess what? That's not what I really wanted. I wanted to be devoted to one woman. I wanted one woman and one woman only. So there were things that I had to do so I was able to see clear and not be in my flesh, not be in my emotions and say, you know what, this is what I want. I want to be with her because she's fine and sexy. She got a big booty, big breast. It wasn't bigger than that. And so how did I get to that point? Like I said, I always wasn't like this, a man of faith. I always wasn't like this. I lived the life in the streets, been in the streets, doing all type of stuff. So I'm here and I'm saying this is my perspective of a blueprint of how to have a success. Do me and my wife get into arguments? Nope. I don't have the energy right now. I'm 48. I don't have the time and energy. I didn't want that. So there were guidelines, not even guidelines. There were things that I said to my wife before we got married. I'm not tolerating. You know what I'm saying? I got a great career, great job. So money wasn't an issue. We never had sex. We didn't do none of that. But I understand my old life, I put it away because I didn't want to bring those old desires and old wants into the new relationship. And then I have this idea of what I want. And guess what? I put that on her. So I had to clean myself. All the old bad habits I had to put away. I had to get rid of because it was like having a clean slate. I wanted to be honest, devoted to her. So, how did I do that? Living a holy and righteous life. Am I perfect? No, but that's how I did it. And guess what? I'm telling men, it's a better way to do it. Everybody gonna do what they want. No judgment. Not saying I'm better than anybody, but this is how I did it. Because guess what? I want to be an example of how you can choose a wife for the right reason, not for the wrong reasons. You know what I'm saying? Everybody have their own desire and wants. But at the end of the day, guess what? It still has to be a structure. And this is no shine. I mean, this is not to Lady T or yourself. We bringing real life conversation. So I have to address that and let anybody that's watching know that this is not a judgment. It's not a knock to whatever lifestyle that you live. I'm saying I'm putting up a front that this is how you can do it. You know what I'm saying? You could do it your own desire, your own way. But at the end of the day, this is, this is my blueprint. You know what I mean? And I want to be encouraging to somebody to let them know that, listen, money is an issue because we live in a time where economic is going up. It's not changing. You know what I'm saying? So sex is a part of it. You know what I'm saying? So, but guess what? You got to also have discipline, because you also have to know, is this person, are you really attracted to this person? And that's why I said there's things you gotta learn and do behind closed doors. And I ain't just saying go have sex, but it's a lot of other ways that you can, weave those things out and see if this, because women, and I'm gonna keep it real, women know if they're gonna sleep with a man before they even get there. They already have this idea. You know what? I'm gonna sleep with him. They know that. Y'all, come on, keep it real. Come on. You already know. You look at that man and you look at him and you say, yeah.
Oh, he can get it.
Exactly. But now you already had that in your mind that he could get it, right?
Mm.
Put that to the side. You already know that now. He could get it. Now let's go deeper. Let's dive deeper and figure out what's outside. That's the outer shell that you're looking at. Let's look inside his heart. Let's look at his morals. Let's look at his family. Is his family rooted right? Is his family have good morals and good understanding? Let's look at that before we get to that. Because guess what? Sex is going to die down. Money is going to always be there. But now, we're outside of that, what else do you have? I'm like I said, I'm 48. You 45. Lady T is in her 40s. So, like, it shouldn't be that hard to do it now. Now, it's like, yo, I'm not dealing with certain things. You got standards. You got boundaries. Once you cross those boundaries, hey, look, I'm out. Walk away. You don't got to sit there and say, you know what? Let me go ahead and ride this pony a little bit and see how it be. Nah. So go ahead, Melissa. I know you want to chime in. Go ahead. And I got some comments up.
Chef, how long have you been married?
Oh, all right. So let me say something. I was married to a woman for 12 years. I got remarried. I've been with my wife now 5 years.
Okay, but so the first time you didn't do all that, like no this, no that, like laying it down, like, because this time, and the reason why I asked that, because I was just curious, because I told you that I'm not opposed.
No, I know.
Huh?
I know.
Yeah, I'm not opposed to getting married again. I'm just like, where they at? Just doing that. Because of the times are changing, and then we supposed to be like, well, hey, sometimes we go by the law of the land, sometimes we go by this other rule, right? And that's why I was just asking. I was just curious to how long you've been married, because I was saying that a lot of times these men that's already been divorced, been there, done that, they're not looking to do it again. And so if I keep sitting and I wait, and I totally agree. I'm okay with honestly taking the sex out. I really do. I do agree with that, because I mean, I know it's gonna be good, because this, for me, that's the icing on the cake. I would rather get to know a person and who they are. But we do get caught up in the flesh, especially when it just kind of get a little, when you go to accept and like, well, this is the norm. That does take a lot of discipline it takes a lot of discipline to be like, hey, I'm going to get to know this person. If this man shows me that he don't want to get to know me for me, okay, move on. And then I'm going to be moving on so much, because it's like, okay, well, we're not going, I think too, I'm a very affectionate person. So I'm getting a little deeper, but I'm a very affectionate person. And sometimes that be leading to other stuff. But I just wanted to know at what point. So you were in your 40s when this happened.
No.
I'm just looking for this, trying to figure out where, if I keep sitting and waiting and keep sitting and waiting, and then don't be out here like 60, 65 years old, like, well, yeah, I was trying to do this the right way.
Mm-hmm.
And now I need my kids to come take care of me.
So Melissa, so look, my first wife, when I married her, I was 30.
Mm-hmm.
So what happened was, the decision that I made, I was raised like this. When you have a child, marry that woman. So in my family and raised how we were raised, you know what I'm saying? Lady T is my co-host, but she's my cousin as well. So we come from the same loins, right. And how we were raised, you know what I'm saying, is that you have a child, get married. So that's what I did it for.
I did that.
But But at the end of the day, I wasn't trained. I won't say trained. I still had this mentality that I could do what I want to do. So I didn't speak to my ex-wife correctly as a man of faith. So there were things I did, didn't know. And, so I got married to her just because we had a kid. And when things got rough, I didn't turn to God. You know what I'm saying? It got nasty. So because it got nasty, I was like, you know what? That's it. We went our separate ways. We separated for 2 years and then we got divorced. But mind you, now my current wife, as soon as I got divorced, I proposed to my wife. Now, because the reason why is because I really, I soaked in God's word. I really made a decision to look for his guidance and making my best decision of picking another wife. Because when I got divorced, I went down a dark black hole. Like I was wilding, getting drunk, doing all type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? I was like, yo, that's it. I don't care. So I was having sex with women and doing all that type of stuff. You know what I mean? I was wilding, but that's not what I really wanted. I really wanted to be devoted to one person. And so I had to go through all that to see my face, to see me. You know what I'm saying? I'm taking accountability of my actions. I'm taking, really looking at my life and saying, you know what? I don't want to make those decisions anymore. So, that's how I got to the point where I'm at now. And even now, in these 5 years, COVID had happened in the first year of me and my wife. And guess what? I was confined to the house. So this is what I'm saying. Guess what? We were locked in. I had to get to know her in a whole year, just going nowhere. Like we couldn't go nowhere, but the supermarket and back. So guess what? That was a learning process. But I realized that no matter what we go through, I can deal with it. I can go through her because guess what? She had to tolerate me. I'm a gamer. What woman like a man that like to play the game? But guess what? I do it in the perspective time. I give her time. I honor and respect her. But at the end of the day, guess what? We had to sit there and deal with each other. And by the way, in that time of COVID, I didn't have COVID. I had pneumonia in both lungs. This woman had to take care of me. I was ready to give up my life because I was in so much pain. But she did that. So see, I can see myself longevity with her. I can see myself just giving her everything her heart's desire because just that in that little bit of time that we were married, we went through all that. That changed. That was a life-changing situation, COVID. You know what I'm saying? So that was big. And let me introduce my main man, Sipping and Tripping podcast host, Roy Black is in the building, y'all. And I know he
no, you just hit me with the Roy.
I mean, Desmond Black. You want me to say so? My bad.
That's terrible.
So yeah, let me put up some of these.
So what you got to say, Desmond?
Hey!
I mean, I was on my way here. I was driving, so there's a lot of things that was on my mind, but it kind of slipped my mind. So I was just like listening for a while until something came to me. You know what I'm saying? But I think he said, the topic was why do men and women live together before getting married, man. I think that's a necessity, man. I think, in my opinion, I just think it's foolery to get married and then you say you're moving in together, like. Because you either way you go look at it, you're going to spend that much time. You're going to invest that time anyways. So you need you need to be able to live with that person to see if y'all going to mesh together, see if y'all going to gel together. Because without that, y'all can live two different places. Yeah, guess what? You ain't got to roll over and hear the snoring or this and that. You know what I'm saying? Y'all married, then now y'all live together, and you be like, oh God, this nigga.
Yep.
Or you be like, this chick. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? I think that's a necessity to get that living experience before you talk about getting married.
Well, Chef is on a different life. It's all about spirituality and Christianity and doing the right thing and law of the land. And we have to abide by rules and do things the way. I'm trying to get hype when I talk these conversations and topics because, it'd be hitting a nerve with me. And I noticed I was getting hype earlier. I'm like, why is this man hyping me to this point that I just can't communicate? Like,
Right.
It drives me crazy. I feel like we've had these topics so much. Desmond, am I wrong? Haven't we
No.
had these type of topics all the time? And I'm like, well, are we
All the
saying the
time.
same thing over and over and over? Because I don't understand. Are you
Groundhog Day,
trying
yeah.
to, get somebody to change their life? What are you doing with these topics? Like,
Of course, I'm trying to get somebody to change their life.
I'm gonna have to tune out
I
one
know.
time. I'm gonna tune out. I'm gonna have nothing to say, and I'm gonna tune out. And I think that's just best because you see, I'm struggling with words lately with this
Yeah.
conversation.
Especially when we bring in the religion thing, like in the Bible, man, it wasn't no covenant, no piece of paper, no contracts in no Bible. Matter of fact, what they said in the Bible is when you sleep together, that makes you married right there.
Yep.
So that means
Yep.
I got hella wives.
Yep.
That's what it
Excuse
says.
me.
I got
Hey,
husband.
look, hey, somebody made a comment. I just want to put this up.
I think I know which one you talking about.
Yeah.
Hey, that's
Hitting
okay.
the nerve.
That's what step dinners bring out of people. You hit nerves, man.
But
It's crazy.
hey, listen. But this is look. This is what happens. These are topics that most people don't like talking about. It ain't. Look, somebody said something. Me too. Look, it's not a strikeout. Nobody. Listen, we not talking about personal lives. We ain't talking about your personal life, her personal life. It's a conversation that we diving into. It's not. This ain't a strike at nobody.
Okay.
Because guess what? I gotta let you know. Anybody that's watching, I gotta let you know. It's not a strike at you.
Okay.
It's guess what? Everybody has the ability to make a decision and choose the life that they choose to live. That's
Okay.
it. It's no judgment.
But look, Nola girl, she actually, I think it was her comment that said that marriage benefits men, right? It wasn't her. I have to go back and look.
Yeah, she
but,
did. Yeah.
But I
Hold on.
remember that comment, and I was like, so true.
Okay,
And it was really, this is a patriarchal life we live. This is all about the man. This is a man's world. Okay. So
look,
it benefits y'all.
All right, look.
Hey, Chef, hold on. Earlier,
Hold on,
you was
let
talking
somebody-
about marriage.
somebody-
you
hold
was-
on. I'm gonna read this comment real quick. I got you. Hold on. It's
You
an
jumping.
honest question. No, honest question. I'm putting this question up. It says, why do speaking on religion ideas in marriage is a bad thing? What religions marital ideas is harmful to marriage?
Okay, people don't want to get married. There's some people that don't want to get married. There's some people that avoid marriage. There's
Okay.
some people that look at marriage as something that, we don't have to commit. We made a commitment because we're here together. We live in the house together. We are here. We're loving each other. That's our commitment. So marriage is all about who you're with, but we're talking about marriage in a religious way where you're going to the courthouse and paying all the fees, everything that, Melissa B was talking about early, all the amount of money that you have to put in to say that you are a part of the law of the land. That's basically the difference. When you're with somebody, even when you sleep with them, that's your husband or your wife. You just mentioned that, so the religious part has a lot of weight, a heavy weight on people. It is a burden, and I am sick of it.
Okay,
and it just
Can I
makes
come
me.
down real quick?
Go ahead.
And also, and I'm not going to elaborate, but you have to remember with him as making that statement, the religious part of it, there are people that have, because a lot of the religious has turned into business, there are people that's more spiritual than religious. And I'm going to leave that alone, but go ahead.
I'll accept that one too.
So look, hey Chef, the one thing I wanted to say earlier when I was driving here was you was talking about marriage as a covenant, right? You know by definition what covenant means, right? It just means an agreement. So when you're in a serious relationship, it's just that's also a covenant. A marriage is nothing but a committed relationship. No matter how you cut that pie, it comes out the same slice, the same piece of pie, bro. Like a marriage is just a serious commitment to a relationship with the business aspect. It's no longer your business. Matter of fact, it's like you going into business and you asking for investors.
All
right, because you shell all this money out. It's a contract, bro. That's a business, and it's no love when you talk about a business. You're looking for a business partner, not a lover, not a soulmate. You are now asking for a business partner.
I agree.
Mhm.
That's why I say marriage is a
I mean,
business.
he took
I
off
want
$50
that.
for a certificate. That's $50 for the certificate. But now, when you want to get divorced, you gotta show money.
5,000. That's what I
Yes.
said.
All right,
There's
so
no,
let
it's no scale.
I
Look,
like that
it's no scales
comment.
and balance there.
That's
What
a
comment?
great
There's no scales
comment.
and balance.
which one?
Which
Which
one?
one?
Us as humans made it commercial. That one that you just had up
Oh, this one.
Yeah.
at this point to show off for others.
Yeah.
All right, now,
It's my head
Marriage
thing.
is symbolism, right? You put that ring around your finger. You want people to see it. Like, oh, all right, it's taken. But guess what? Real people that respect people, right? When you're in a relationship, you ain't got to know they're in a relationship. Automatically, if you see a man with a woman, you should already think like they may be together. It should be no disrespect there anyway.
Yeah.
So what you
I
need a
agree.
ring for? That's just symbolism.
all right,
That's
so look,
property. Hold on. Matter of fact, marriage is just like modern. It's like slavery. You know, you take off the shackles, but you put that ring. Same thing. You bond. That's bondage.
now,
Bondage.
since we all touched about religion. Now here it is. Guess what? Every person that lives on this earth has a spirit, and guess what? Those spirits that are not supposed to be connected has an effect on each person. So when you have sex with a person that you're not supposed to have, and that spirit, that's soul tithing, and when soul tithing, guess what? There are reactions that happen when those things come together. Because guess what? If a person has an evil spirit and it connects with you, guess what? That spirit jumps on you, and guess what? And it will affect you. And it would, and vice versa, it would affect the man or the woman. So when you talk about those type of things, guess what? That's also plays a part in having sex or doing these type of things that has effect on you, and it has effect on your relationship. It has effect on your mind. And so know this, that every person on this life, on this earth, has a spirit that connects with another spirit. That's
Sexually,
sexually.
only sexually. If you are talking in this way as a husband and wife, is sexually. If you are connected to them sexually, then that is a husband or a wife sexually, because that's the only way that you can bound yourself to that person sexually. So include that, because that's it. Spirit is there for every person.
I'm only talking about that. I said sex. I said when you sleep,
so but that's the thing.
Together.
You already know that it's sex. So whoever that you have sex is your husband and your wife in the past.
Okay.
And you've been married several times.
That's biblical too. That's biblical.
Boy,
When you sleep with somebody,
yes, it's biblical. I agree. Yeah.
And so guess what? It called when two spirits come together, guess what? It causes an affliction. It called not only an affliction, guess what? It causes a person pain, because now you got to pull away. Guess what? Now after you finish dealing with this person, now you go away. Guess what? It causes some type of affliction on that individual.
Yeah, you said
I don't know what
when
else.
people have sex with people they're not supposed to have sex with. Who determines whether, like, who's right for you, who's not? Who determines
when you have sex with that person? You determine it when you have sex with that person. That's how I see it. If you lay down with that person,
but he was saying when people.
But him and his ways and how he thinks is a lot different from me and how I think and what I can understand of him. So, but I look at it as, if you lay down with somebody, that is your husband or your wife. You lay down with them. Lay down with them. You that's what makes you a husband and wife. You live with them and you don't lay down with them. That's really not your husband and wife. You just shacking up. I'm gonna say that. Okay. Once you lay with that person, that becomes your bond to that person. You're connected. So you know,
I got a comment on that right there. So it says marriage is a covenant between a God, a man, and a woman. Without God, then religiously it's not a marriage. So if you go to Justice of the Peace, or you go and you get the paperwork and you actually get married, but you don't believe in God. So Rodney, are you trying to say that that's technically not a marriage? Because you went through all the measures, you went through all the proper channels to get married. So if you don't believe in God, that means you're not married. That don't make no sense.
It's the law.
Because by law, you're married.
Yeah, just by law.
Oh, look, listen. Now, if I'm the only one, I don't know. People making comments, and look, you see that? I believe in those soul ties, and at the end, everybody in this world gonna believe in that, because guess what? At the end of the day, if you understand,
don't believe in it. Don't say everybody in this world gonna believe in that, because you got 3 people that
believe in what? Soul ties?
I believe
but people that's agreeing with you, they're married.
That's
no,
but no, I believe it.
I believe it. I believe in it.
I don't
I
know.
believe
But
that once
maybe
you
if we
get
put on
married,
a condom, long as we put on a condom, then the spirit won't get into me.
nah, that was a good one
That
though.
know me. I'm gonna cut up.
Okay,
But
hold on. Listen, this is really getting juicy. Hold on for a minute, because I think Melissa B is in she neutral, she in between, but I guess Mr. Black and Lady T is going against me, so don't worry, I'm probably bringing some reinforcements.
It's okay.
Hold
I'm fully
on,
loaded.
hold on, y'all. Well, Lady T, go ahead and finish up. I'm gonna bring some reinforcements in.
I'm good. I'm trying not to say too much. I'm, trying to calm my nerves with this one, but
well,
Shit.
I did make that statement. I don't know if I think it was Harrison when he was talking about the God, man, and a woman, and I said, well, what's wrong with me and my significant other? We been at this house and we say, look, like we stood here and we prayed before God and we say, hey, we together.
right.
Now let's go exchange spirits, boo. And we, and then I guess since we got to do it publicly, we're gonna make us a post on social media because we finna do it the law of the land. So that's publicly, because Chef said you got to do it publicly, that because that's how it was written, which is what King James said to do. And so so it's still there. But it's because I didn't go down there to the courthouse and get the piece of paper and say, this is what we're going to do.
All right, hold on. Let me put this up there. All right,
but that is true, Cash. Let me tell you, honey. You say you've seen people who were together for years without marrying, and when the person died. So then that's different. Now that's a different scenario. But that's why you got to have these these wills and insurance policies.
Right, see?
Law of the land. You can do all of that without going to get married.
No. No. Listen, if you're not married to a person and somebody die, it's hard for you to claim anything that they have.
Not if you're in the will.
If it's documented.
If it's documented, that's something. But most people that they don't be. I said, let me take that back. I'm gonna say most people. Some people don't have those wills and they die. And guess what? They lose everything. It goes to the government. That's true. So I ain't gonna say everybody. There are some people that do that.
And but we shouldn't be in a relationship anyways for what we can get out of that person. You know what I'm saying? So like if I was in a long-lasting relationship and it didn't work and the person died and I couldn't reap the benefits from a dead corpse, I'm not gonna cry over that. Because my benefit was that love when that person was alive. That's my benefit. You understand what I'm saying? That's my benefit. I'm not chasing materialistic things or nothing like that. Chef?
Yeah, hold on.
Chef trying to bring in security or something. I don't know. Trying to bring in security.
Hold on.
But why? Hey everybody! Hey all my sunshines! Hey, I see y'all in the chat. Yeah, I see y'all in the chat. Hey y'all! Thank y'all for coming.
They all in there.
Yeah, they all in there. Hey, there go my boy, the Harris. Listen, Harrison family values are here. Let's go.
Hey. Yeah, well, I was in the chat, and I'm not coming with no argumentative type of energy at all.
We know. Hey, Harrison, we all look. We not. This is a hot discussion. This is not an argument or debate. We don't do that here. And I'm glad you're here. It's not even about debate, but we all have opinions. We all have thoughts. It's a great conversation. As you can see, there's a lot of people in here that's chiming in. So jump on in this conversation.
Yeah. No, it's a dope conversation. I'm listening. And you know what is dope? If I may, hearing the different ideals that exist. I think there's some underlining questions I would have. Only because we talk about things like covenant and what is a covenant commitment and what that looks like, and even this topic of sex and sex making a person married, and since you guys mentioned it from a biblical sense, the reason why it's like that in the Bible is to hold those who are having sex accountable, because it was meant to be in a marriage. So if people are having sex, the reason why the Bible refers to people who have sex are now married, is to hold them accountable to the act that should be done under the bonds of marriage in the first place. That makes sense.
That
we-
makes sense.
According,
I get it.
according, where
So-
was, what are you referring to when you say that? Are you saying the New Testament when you're referring to that?
Well, I don't. The New Testament is just a continuation of the Old.
I
So
know.
to
So,
separate the
but
two is.
when you're referring to marriage, it really wasn't talked about in the Old Testament. So it's in the New
Oh no,
Testament.
there was.
So what's the
Leviticus.
marriage? The marriage
There's-
of Jesus.
What do you mean?
No.
So the Old Testament says what
Yeah.
about marriage? That's what I'm trying to say. I
There's
want
a
to
whole-
understand what you
there's-
say,
Yeah, Moses wrote a whole list of laws concerning marriage.
right?
That's
Concerning
Old
marriage.
Testament. That's
Even
Old
for the-
Testament.
Yeah, but even in the Old Testament, it's not like it doesn't continue into it, because Jesus quoted the Old Testament when he referred to marriage. So we can't say, okay, the Old Testament is out. Jesus quoted from it,
Mhm.
so it's not out. It still applies.
Okay.
Even the very
I'm
foundation.
having a
right?
hard time hearing you, so I was just trying to understand. So
Is it too low?
I'm going to. No,
this
it's
better?
mine.
Okay, got you.
A little bit better. Try it one more time.
This is
Do
good.
something. Yes,
is a little bit
that's
low.
a little bit better.
Yeah. So like when we talk about marriage, and again, the topic of marriage is nuance. And a lot of times we go into marriage topics based on our own experiences and preconceived notions or things that we want, right? So we look at marriage today, and in the West, we have a very different mindset about marriage. A lot of times we look at marriage as what we can get out of it. And if we don't find that we can get anything out of it, we really don't want marriage. We just want the benefits of it without the full commitment of it. And then we tend to do things like, well, I don't want to go through the state, but there's some legalities involved with getting married through the state. And then we use things like, it's paper or it's expensive. Honestly, most counties, and I'm a marriage officiant, it only costs like $25 to $50 just to file for your marriage to make it legal. So then it goes into the question, what's the big deal? What's the big deal? Why do people put so much emphasis on not going to the courts to get it done when it's only like $25, $50 anyway, and it makes it legal? And that's an honest question.
Yeah.
I'm curious.
I mean,
So,
go ahead.
Go ahead,
Go ahead.
Melissa.
no, no, you go ahead. This.
Yes. Go ahead, D.
Oh, no, I was just about to say. I mean, it's not. I don't think it's so much about people making a big deal, right? Because
Yeah.
I'm not married. I'm not looking to get married. I don't make a big deal of it. When it seems like I make a big deal is when people try to preach marriage and make it seem like it's the end all be all. Because it's no gain from getting married from leaving a relationship, in my opinion. It's just not, because nothing really changes, because we're creatures of habit, right? So
Yeah.
if we're in a serious relationship and we talk about marriage and we get into marriage, guess what? We're creatures of habit. So we're going to continue to do the same things we was already doing. There's
Yeah.
nothing going to change. There was no added incentive or benefit from getting married. And that's the truth. And I don't care what people say, because when you ask people, what did you gain or what did you do differently once you got married, they'll tell you nothing. And if they lie, or if they say they got something else and they can't tell you, then they got caught up in the lie.
Yeah. So
So I'm gonna ask you, what's the added benefit of getting married?
I'm glad you asked that. So
Mhm.
you're asking from a personal perspective, like how do I benefit from getting married?
Yeah, or a person in general. It could be you or a person in general.
All right. So I'm going to answer the question, but I'm asking a rhetorical question. You don't have to answer this. Can you name a community that's thriving, right? That's thriving, that's not centered around family and marriage? No, you don't have to answer that. It's a rhetorical question. You'd be hard pressed to find it. So what we look at marriage in the West as, what can I get out of this? So I'm marrying this woman because she does something for me. Or I'm marrying this man I'm marrying this man because he does something for me, which is why we have a very low value of marriage. Because most of the time in the West, we go into marriage wanting somebody else to do something for us, instead of approaching it with what can I do for this person? What can I do for my family? I'm getting married, not for me to benefit, but for me to build a family and build a legacy. Every strong community has strong families. Every strong family has strong marriages, a strong man and a strong woman keeping the family together. So it's not just about what I can benefit. It's about what the community, what my family, and how my legacy would benefit from it.
But shouldn't you be already doing those things before marriage?
In what way? Like, what do you mean?
Like when you say a strong man, a strong woman, right? Like
Yeah.
you should look at it like I'm gonna do for this woman, and that woman I should do for this man, or I want to do for this man.
Yeah.
You should be doing that anyways. That's what I'm getting at,
In a
right? Like,
relationship.
isn't it? Yes. And if you're doing that already, it's like when you talk about a strong community,
Mhm.
you should be already getting that because all your
Yeah.
ducks is in row. You're doing all the things that you need to be doing or should be doing.
Mhm.
That's what I'm saying. So you should already be doing these things before you even talk about marriage. And when you get
Yeah.
married, guess what? You already was doing those things, so you're going to continue to do those things.
Yeah.
It's no difference.
But it's a continuation, though. It doesn't stop there.
It's a
It keeps
continuation,
going.
but you're not doing anything differently. So therefore, by definition, it's really no difference.
So doing life by yourself and then doing life with somebody, there's no difference.
So that's two different things because in your relationship, you're not in a relationship with yourself. You're in a relationship with the other person. When you're in a marriage, you're in a marriage with that same person. So
Mhm.
therefore, that's the same exact thing. Now, when you say being by myself as opposed to being with somebody else, now that's the difference. You know
Well,
what
that
I'm
was
saying?
the point I was making. That was the point I was making as far as building a
Right.
family, building a community, building a legacy. So yeah,
Mhm.
if you're doing what you should be doing, you should be doing what you should be doing before you get married.
Right.
Right. It's when you find somebody that you're willing to build with that you come together and make it, solidified. Now, I will say this to your point though, right? Because you mentioned before about the law, right? Or like
Mhm.
whatever. There's some communities in the world that don't have to use the government to solidify their marriage. I think that's an
Right.
American thing in most cases, or a Western civilization type of thing. Because you go to places in Africa and remote areas of the world, and they have their own different kinds of ceremonies. It's still as blessed as it would be here. Just that in America, we have certain laws in place, right? But I think that at the core of it, it's the desire to come together with somebody to actually build something that's like lasting, something that's going to last long before you and your spouse is gone. And
Mm.
that's your legacy. That's your family. It keeps going. You know what I'm saying? If that makes sense.
Right. I got what you're saying.
Yeah.
So what was I about to say? So all right. So let's say somebody they've been married for 10 years and then they just go astray. It's like
Yeah.
it's just like they go sour and they like it's not for me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you went through all that getting married and said you want to solidify it, but now it's null and void because the feelings ain't there. Then what?
Then that's
You know,
the
people
decision
make it
that they
seem like
made.
when you
So
get married, that's it, that's final. You know what I'm saying? That's your soulmate. No, it's not. That's not always the case.
no, it's not always the case. And I'm not going to say that is the case. Things happen. But I don't think I would like to believe that people aren't getting into marriage with the understanding that this may end one day. Because then at that
Well,
point,
no,
like,
I
what's
don't
the
believe
point?
that either.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't believe that either.
Yeah.
I think
So,
a lot of people, they grow up and they say, "Oh, once I get married, I'm gonna be with that person forever."
Mhm.
But and they don't realize that like that's not what that means,
well,
because you still got life,
Hold
still
on,
life,
Hey, hold on. Melissa, you want to say something? I wanted you to chime in because I know you was waiting patiently. Let me let you chime in because you was waiting patiently. I seen your face. Come on, chime on in. Go ahead. Hold on,
Okay.
brothers.
So I kind of have I have a few things that I wanted to touch on. I just I believe that I can have a strong village without being married.
Mm.
And an amazing support system. I understand what you're saying, but also then the getting in it, like when Desmond said, when you get into the marriage, you don't necessarily go into it when you get married and say this is gonna end, right? But when I spoke on it and I said I spend this $50 to get in it and I spend 5,000 to get out, right? That was speaking from experience, first of all. But then the thing is that then when it goes back to us living together. And I think it's a possibility. Okay, now I'm choosing to, it's kind of like a defense mechanism. It's not that if I get married again, it's not that I feel I'm going into it and it's not going to work. I just know that the reality of it is it might not, because sometimes people, but I mean, I don't choose to marry that person, first of all, that I go into it thinking that it's not going to work. It's just that I've been here before and I want to protect my family. Because so that's why I was like, I'm speaking from I've been married before and I've been divorced. So then when you get married again, then sometimes you have this, and when it comes to financing, we talking about this strong village, a lot of times in some of these families. So that's what I was like, now I wanted to chime in on the family thing, is because we're like, oh, get somebody else with a possibility to get in our pockets. And so you do, if we look at it, I do look at it from in a way like a legal standpoint. And that's why I'm like, well, hey, we can just put paperwork on it and then I don't have to go through all of that. But I just feel that it's just one of those things of security, because I've been there before, and
I have a hot take. And I'm not sure what you guys are going to feel about this. I believe, and I'm a proponent of marriage, but I believe every single marriage in America, because of how the laws are established, should be led with a prenup.
What?
On everything, I believe that.
There's a reason. Yeah.
But see, now you add this trading.
And this is why. Because I understand people's concerns about the state getting involved in the marriage and then being the ones to dictate what happens if the marriage is dissolved. A prenup allows for the couple to set the terms of the marriage.
Yeah.
Not just the terms of the divorce, the terms of the marriage. So let's say you don't even want to have, because I believe that all marriage is blessed by God, whether you are a believer, a Christian, whatever, because he established, like, certain laws are, I believe, is universal, right? So if people get married, whether they are Christian or whatever, I believe that, if a husband and wife comes together, that God's going to bless it. Okay. So I believe that because America has laws, each state has specific laws, that every single marriage should be led with a prenup, so that the state is removed from the marriage. The couple can set the terms of the marriage with a legal prenup. After it's done, then they go to the state and say, hey, here's my $25. Let's just sign the papers and keep it moving. But this way, the government is no longer involved in how you guys operate in your marriage and how it would be separated if there is a dissolution of the marriage.
I agree with that. I think
that's
I
a
agree
funny
with that.
comment right there. That's why I was laughing. That comment's funny.
Yeah, prenup necessary.
Yeah, it says who you marry and who you divorce are two different people. That's hilarious.
Yeah, I think that's good, because guess what? If you come into a marriage with a lot of finance and the other person doesn't, now guess what? If you decide to, like you said, separate, now everything I work hard for, you get no parts of that. Yeah. And so I agree to that too.
But it goes like this too. Like, you set the terms of the prenup, though. It's not just that. A prenup can look like, it could look the very opposite. It can say, the wife was at home raising kids. If there is a divorce, then you guys set a specific percentage that the wife gets after the marriage. So, like, it's not just like what you make, because I think people look at prenups like, I'm going to get a prenup to protect my assets. That's not only what a prenup is for. It really is just to set the terms of your marriage, and then set the terms after, if the marriage is to, because it can look like, so for instance, right? I know I've officiated marriages and counsel couples where somebody came into the marriage with a lot of money, right? Owning a house and all that stuff. So they had a prenup where the house that they had prior and all their assets prior to marriage, they keep. Anything after that is established in the prenup that is shared communal property. So so they're looking to buy more property. The properties that they buy together after that is shared. But whatever they had prior is theirs, and they set the terms of the marriage. So the thing is, we look at prenups like, I got money and I got to protect my assets because she's going to come in and take everything if she divorced me. Or you can look at it like, babe, let's have a seat. Let's talk. Let's set the terms of this marriage. This is how we're going to operate. We're going to have a one pot method where we put everything in one pot and we, you set the terms. Yeah. So
Go ahead, say, Melissa B.
Now, Harrison, you said earlier that this union is blessed by God. Now, let me preface this. I believe in prenups, right? I actually was in a situation and discussed this with someone, and I said my prenup would have an adultery clause, and that was like, oh no, like that's setting the tone, that's of the marriage, right? But you said that this union is blessed by God. So if we're gonna go by that, why are we putting this prenup there to set the terms of our marriage?
if you're gonna get have this to keep the state out of it, you guys set the terms. The thing is, we want to use we want to play the system where we want to play the system. A prenup is a way to play the system. All right, because legally in America, right, for you to have a legal marriage, legally, you got to go to the state that you live in and get a marriage certificate, whatever. If you don't have a prenuptial agreement, they set the terms of your marriage. They tell you what to expect in a marriage. And then if the marriage ends, they tell you how things are going to be divided. So that's all I'm saying with the prenup.
Yeah, I understood that. I was just saying that if we look at it in the sense of we're gonna do this union because this is the right thing to do, and this union is blessed by God. I get what you're saying. Like if something, but that's still if it's dissolved, so
but that's the thing. Every marriage, every person who gets married is signing a prenuptial agreement. It's either they set the terms
contract.
Of it, but it's still it's an agreement, and a contract is an agreement. It's a nuptial agreement that everybody signs if they get married in America legally. If they don't have a prenuptial agreement that they set the terms for, the state governs what happens. So what I'm saying is, so the thing is, people looking at prenup, everybody's signing a nuptial agreement.
Yes, that's different.
The state is telling you how to govern your marriage and what happens after.
But I thought that God is supposed to govern my marriage.
Oh, absolutely.
That's my house. But you're saying on the back end, right?
The state's, but if you get married legally, the state's not going to say, okay, what does your God think? You can, but here's what the thing. You can set biblical standards in your prenuptial agreement. That's the whole thing about a prenuptial agreement. You set the terms. You set the terms. So you can be like, you know what? In our marriage, we're going to do this, 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 and we're going to hold each other accountable to this, 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 this in our prenuptial agreement. If you do not do these things according to scripture, then we're going to take action and see whatever. You set the terms. It could look like anything.
So I just want to add this, man. Like, when we talk about marriage, right? Shouldn't a marriage be about finding that right person, choosing the right person?
For sure.
And it should also be based on trust, correct?
For sure.
So when people talk about prenups, why are you going to enter a marriage saying I want a prenup if you trust that person? If you found the right person, if you wholeheartedly feel like you found the right person, why we talk about a prenup?
Again, it's
now. I feel like people that say they want a prenup don't trust that person.
It depends on how you look at the prenup.
And they got doubts whether that's person the right one for them. That's what it sounds like to me.
But again, it looks like it depends on how you see a prenup, like what you think of a prenup. If you think of a prenup as a means to protect your assets, of course, that's going to be your position. If you look at a prenup as a means to set the terms of your marriage, then you're not going to perceive it that way. We have been conditioned to think that prenup is all about rich men protecting what they have. That's not what a prenup is. That's what we use it for mostly. But us normal people that make less than 100K, we're not thinking about things like that. People who have businesses and properties and land and all that stuff, they think of things like that. But if you look at a prenup at its core, it really is just the couple setting the terms of their marriage. That's it.
Okay, look, my turn. Okay, so let's get back to the whole Bible. You were saying, because I didn't hear you very good, and I mean, I was like trying to understand it because in the Bible, we know about it becoming one flesh when man and woman become one. Okay, that's marriage. That's one flesh. That's connecting. Okay.
Mhm.
Then we also know polygamy is a part of marriage, and it was accepted. Yes. Yes. That's why I said,
Well,
that's why I said, oh, I was wondering where you're going with the marriage in the Bible, because there's so many ways marriage
And-
is interpreted in the Bible.
well, tell me where where God says a man can have multiple wives in the Bible.
Old Testament.
So tell me
Abraham.
where though.
Yeah,
It's not
Abraham.
about
So,
saying. It's
okay, I'm glad you mentioned Abraham. Abraham, right, had a concubine, or he took his wife's servant because his wife said, "You have sex with Hagar because I can't bear a child."
That's Polly.
Okay.
Jacob did it.
Hold up.
David
Hold up.
had
Let me
multiple-
finish. Let me finish.
Okay.
But what happened after that?
Strife. All strife.
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 Okay.
All
Look at
strife.
David. Look at David.
All strife.
Absalom tried to kill David. David's son, raped his half sister. The full brother of his half sister that he raped killed him. Like you can't name one example in the Bible where polygamy ended up being a good
I
thing.
understand, and I know, and I
I won't.
agree, and I'm not saying that, but
Yeah.
my point is that when you were referring to it earlier, I was trying to understand it. When we say marriage, it's a divine marriage is when a man and woman come together.
Mhm.
That's all I wanted to hear, because that's all it is. When you and a woman or a man and woman get together, it is a connection. That is what I understand it as, a marriage. You come together as one. When you that's the sex. It's not kissing. It's not any but sex, because it is the intertwining of one another. So that is considered a divine marriage. It does not become divine when you go to the courthouse or you say, I'm going to marry this person. It becomes divine when you lay with that person, because it's a possibility of creating. That is what happens. The creation part happens when you lay with a person. And that is like becoming like God, because you're creating or have the possibility, because you are in a divine inspiration in a time where you are in a marriage, in a union. And this is what bothers me about these topics, because we have so many different interpretations of marriage. We are on the Western side and we don't know a lot. We think we know a lot. We think we have a lot of things that we can tell, is the truth, but we really don't. We're being spoon fed, and we don't really know a lot, and a lot of lies and deceit has been given to us. And so we're trying to figure it out. And really, marriage is when you lay with someone, when you have divine time with a person and you are connecting. That's how I see it. And that's what it is, because that's what it said in Genesis, right? When you said
it doesn't just say it in Genesis. So you're oversimplifying it. You're picking that one thing and taking it out and saying that's all it says. That's
I'm
not
just
all
saying
it
it's
says.
the first thing. What I'm saying is the
therefore, what the reference you're referring to, it says, therefore a man shall leave his father and his mother and hold fast to his wife.
And that's not what I was referring to.
Then the two shall become one flesh. So the thing is, I'm reading it in context. I'm not going to give you just one little piece of scripture. We're going to read it in context. Therefore, a man shall leave his father and his mother and hold fast to his wife. He was his wife first. And then the two shall become one flesh. And the man and his wife were naked, both, and were not ashamed. So I guess because I understand what you're saying. And people have different perspectives of marriage, different views of marriage, right? And yes, ideally, people who are engaged in sex should be married, and that is the culmination of what a marriage is. In fact, in many states, they acknowledge that, because if you get married and you want that marriage annulled, one of the first questions they ask is what? Did you have sex? If you did not have sex within, like, I think a 6-month period, in most states, you're allowed to get the marriage annulled, because in their eyes, the marriage wasn't solidified. So we get married. Sex solidifies the marriage biblically. Now, again, this is only for those who believe this. If you don't believe this, I don't want to argue with people who don't believe it, because, like, if you don't believe it, you don't believe it. We can talk about something different concerning marriage. I'm just saying, like, this specific scripture and what you're referencing has truth to it, but there's more context to it as well. So it says, therefore a man shall leave his father and his mother and hold fast to his wife. They should become, they hold fast. They cling together as a wife first, and then the two shall become one flesh. So even in the scripture you're referencing, there's a specific order to it and its context.
When I hear you say that, that's laying with that person. That's laying with to become one. Yeah. So
it solidifies the marriage. Yeah.
It solidifies the marriage. So that's the first thing that I look at as the first way of a marriage. That is what it said. When I say it's the first, because it starts in Genesis as that. And that's why I asked you about where are you going, because it does changing and becoming laws. It becomes laws first with Moses. So I was trying to understand, like, the movement of marriage had changed from the first, because the first was, I understand what you're saying. We put laws on it. Moses had
the laws are all attached to this.
Our laws are always attached to it. Yes, I understand that, but because we have free will, we can make choices to say we don't need to abide by the laws. Okay. But what I'm trying to say is that when you are with somebody, that is your marriage. That is a marriage. And that's all I was saying. It's more of us understanding that the first thing we do is, if you lay with someone, you married them. that is the divine way of what God says, becoming as one. And we are missing that because we're putting a lot of emphasis on the laws. We're putting a lot of emphasis on what such and such said, and you're not supposed to do this, but it's not on love. We don't talk about love. We don't sit up here. I married for love. I married people for love. And it didn't work out, and we fell out of love, and everything has to do with love.
So I think so everything has to do with love and how you perceive love.
Okay.
Like you said that you fell out of love, right? Then I argue, were you ever in love in the first place?
Yes.
And I say that because we seem to only attach love to a specific feeling. Lauryn Hill said it best when she talked about, we don't know what love is. We love what stimulates us, and as long as it stimulates us, we love it. Love is more than just how we feel. Love is what we're committed to.
Love is one of those words that nobody can really break down into words and describe.
And that's
so
why
when we talk about feelings, that's what it is. People go off of feelings and emotions, and when they got that deep attachment for something or somebody, that's when that word love comes out. I can't see myself without this. I can't see myself without them. That is love. That is one of the $1 million questions that nobody can really get right. So to ask if she ever been in love, I just think that's crazy. That's a crazy question.
So it's not a judgmental. It's just a matter of questioning whether or not somebody was in love based on if it stimulates them or if they really made a commitment to it. That's it. So
yeah. So I wanted to say something. Now it's 2 women up here and there's 3 men. Now I'm a father of daughters. Okay. And no, I'm serious. I'm transparent with my daughters. I talk with them. So, and from a father perspective and a man's perspective, I tell my now my oldest daughter is married. Now my youngest, she's in a relationship. And I said to her, this is how I explained to her. I said, Imani, your body is sacred. That's her name, Imani. I said, your body is sacred. So you just don't give it up to anybody. You have to get to know that person mentally, spiritually, physically. You have to get to know them. You have to be around their family. So this is what I tell my daughter. You have to get to know this person, because there are days you're going to be married, or you're going to get married. And guess what? You're going to have a family. And you want to make sure that this is the right person to set the tone for your children when you marry this person. And because you become a union. And guess what? You have to have the same values, if not the same values, similar values. So when it's time to raise your children, you guess what? You can have a disagreement, but on the same plane. You'll be on the same plane of raising a child, raising a son, raising a daughter, telling them about not to have sex before marriage, because it becomes a union. And these are the things, that's a foundation. How do you build the foundation if you don't have that? You just saying, go ahead. If you choose this person, you just go ahead and marry. You got to have a foundation. And I think these are the things I tell her. You have to build a foundation, get to know that man, get to know him, not just give yourself to him because he look good, because he do things for you, take you out and do those things. And so I say to her is, you have to build the foundation, get to know his family, his morals, and how it's going to resonate in you as a woman. and how you're going to build together as a couple, you know. So, you know, I just wanted to say that.
But also,
So
you'd
I-
have to tell her to have self-control and not have sex to become no husband and wife union. That's self-control. That's what we're not teaching children. Self-control and not have sex.
I'm transparent. I'm transparent.
Facts.
Now, I'm listen. I'm transparent. I tell people this all the time, and that's why a lot of people talk with me. Look, my daughter, and I ain't putting her business out there, so I'm not gonna say this. Listen, we have those type of talks because I want her to understand as a woman the things that comes with it. You know, the
Right.
repercussions of having sex with multiple people. She does not have sex with multiple people. I'm just saying there is an action. For every action, there's a reaction. And
Mhm.
so with that being said, I said, listen, if you decide to do that, there is repercussions that come with it. And only you can make that decision on what you do with it. Daddy can't tell you how to live, but I encourage you how to do things because guess what? I want the best for you. I want to see you happy. I want to see you, you know, fully in your happiness. Not be happy for a moment. Go ahead. Somebody wanted to say something.
Yeah, I think you said something about self-control. 100% agree. And now I'm hearing it in totality now and getting a deeper understanding of your position on sex and marriage. So you're not putting. So I thought, and I apologize for thinking this, you know, prematurely. I was thinking that we're putting too much emphasis on sex as evidence of two people being married, and I don't think that's necessarily the point you were making. You just because, and maybe I came in with preconceived notions also. When I think of people using sex as a metric to determine marriage, because sex today has become so loose and and closely related to recreational activity, not a committed behavior between two loving people. So I wanted to apologize because now I think your statement about it being self-controlled allows me to see exactly what you were saying in regards to your position on sex and marriage. Yeah, because self-control.
But don't get me wrong. I'm not that type. So
Yeah. So, yeah.
so, I mean, I know what it says. I know the Bible. Don't get me
Yeah.
wrong. And
Mhm.
I'm not going to sit up here and say I am a person that lives by those ways, but I understand it and I can
Yeah.
communicate it. And I know God's word and I know how it's supposed to be lived. And
Mhm.
so I am a sinner. I'll say I'm a sinner all day long because I'm
We
not
all are.
perfect. And so I cannot sit up here and do the standards of what the Bible says. And that is what makes me surrender and say, this is all I have and take me as I am. And he still loves me. So that's why I know that we look at sex as like, for me, okay, I'm saying it for me. Me, sex it matters. And so I'm not going to get married to somebody, you know, like legally. The marriage will happen before I legally go to the courthouse and I will lay with that one, you know, to say, are you even ready? So I'm not gonna
Yes,
lie.
sir.
I don't need
got
to lie. I'm too
prerequisites.
grown.
I got to see if you
Okay?
qualified.
Yeah.
I got to see if you
Right.
qualified.
Exactly.
So I think a lot of times we get too hung up on the Bible, anyways, right? Chef, since you always want to bring up the Bible, you believe everything in the Bible?
Yes, I do.
I knew he was going to say that. So, are you familiar with Deuteronomy?
Yes.
Deuteronomy chapter 25, verse 5 through 6, since we were talking about marriage,
Yes.
where it says, if you fall ill, that your brother should be the next one to plug your wife. You believe that?
Oh,
Bro,
Yes, sir. Come on,
Can-
man. You believe
can-
you believe everything in the Bible.
can you read that, sir? I will. Since you brought it up, I don't want you to say it from your mouth. I want you to read it, and so everybody can
find that
hear what you
passage.
said. Yes, I want you. If you can't find it, don't. That's
know what
okay.
he's
But I
talking
want
about.
you. No, can you read it,
Hey.
please, sir? Can you read it, please, sir? Thank you.
Okay, buddy. Shit.
I can read it if you
5
want.
through 6.
Oh,
Huh?
hold up.
I have it up if you want.
Go ahead.
I can
Go
read it.
ahead.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
If brothers dwell together, right, and one of them dies and has no son, the wife of the dead man shall not be married outside the family to a stranger. Her husband's brother shall go in to her, and take her as his wife, and perform the duty of a husband's brother to her.
That's
Yep.
betrayal.
Now-
That is blasphemy. That
Well,
is
he's
insane.
dead.
oh.
He's not. Wait, hold up.
I'll go ahead.
It's not like he got sick.
Sometimes you want that
It's saying-
brother too, honey.
It's saying here that he's dead.
So
So,
what? That makes
so-
it right. That's crazy.
so
All I
the-
gotta
Hold
do
on,
is
hold
off.
on. Hey, listen. Now I'm gonna break it down for you where you missed it.
Oh God.
This is where you missed. No, seriously. Now everybody heard what he read, right? You heard what Harris read, right?
Yeah.
The one point that you missed, it says if he does not have a son. Back in those days, back in those times, they really did not talk about daughters, they talk about sons. And so back in those times, that's what he was referring to. If he had no sons, basically no children. So now, because he has no children, he has nothing. So now it was okay. It was okay.
But
to have,
now we talk about principle though. That's not
No.
okay. That's not okay.
you're looking at it from your perspective and your mindset now. You have to remember those times were different and the laws were different. So now it's a
It's
different
like they didn't have church
mindset.
back then.
They had a synagogue. It's a mindset. Our mindset now is different. So you look at it from your perspective now. That perspective was different. Go ahead, Harris. I know you want to
Whether
say
it was
no,
different
just-
or not, that means you say you believe everything in the Bible, so you agree with that. You believe in that. That's insane.
well,
That's
and-
insane.
So I think his point was, and the first son, because this is the reasoning behind that. Because again, a lot of times it's also cultural expression. There's certain things in the Old Testament that's specific to those who are of direct descendant of Abraham. So it says here in verse 6, and the first son whom she bears shall succeed to the name of his dead brother, and that his name shall not be blotted out of Israel. So there's a purpose behind that. It's not like he was just saying, God was just saying to Moses, have the brother, marry. It's for a specific reason, so that the first husband's name is not blotted out. So that the first son will bear his name, but every son after that will have the second brother who married her, his name. So there's a specific reason behind it. And at that time, they weren't allowed to marry outside of those who weren't of the 12 tribes. So
Right.
there
Well,
was
I
a
just
historical
talking about
context and a
principle,
cultural
right?
context.
Principle. It's a lot of things in the Bible. When you break it down, it's insane.
Well,
You know, and as Melissa said earlier, listen, everybody knows, the everything that comes through customs, the United States change or whatever. Like the Bible is man-made. It's been changed and altered so many times, and people that's all they walk, they act like that's not true.
If I can just respond to Ayo,
Which
the
one?
one before,
This one?
Ayo Clo. Well, that's not. You're thinking of more recent times. At the time that this was written, women were allowed to be out by themselves, and the fact that they spent most of their time together with other women, out and
Right.
about without their husbands. So they would just do things without their husbands all the time. There were some instances where there's an instance in numbers where there was these daughters of a man who passed away. He had no sons, and they went to Moses and said, that they believe that they should have the father's inheritance. And God told Moses, yes, it's right that they have their father's inheritance. They owned property. Women owned property back in the Old Testament too. So there's also a narrative that the Bible is misogynistic, and it does have an overtone of severe responsibility of men to lead, but that's not to negate the value of women. In the scripture also, it's just that men had a higher responsibility to lead.
Melissa, you want to say something? 'Cause I see them eyes.
And I'm gonna.
baby. Whew, honey. So this is okay. I'm just gonna make this statement. The response to Desmond was, in those times, right? In those times, And that's where the very beginning of what this topic, men and women living together, not trying to say that what was said is reason why we don't supposed to be living together, but we're in different times. So do you get what I'm saying? We're talking those times. That's what was happening.
All right.
We're in these times, but supposed to live by those times. But then it also, in a way, it's like we have somebody translated what was really said. It's kind of like what's the little thing where in school you learn about lying or misinterpreting what somebody said and rumors when the statement starts
the game
this
of
way.
telephone.
Yeah, and then it's something else and so a lot of times it's a lot of interpretation. And what I'm saying is that we're in these times and we can't, if we do things based off of in these times, when we have to accept that in those times this was being done, but we're not going to do it like that now because that was that time. So is anybody following me?
I got you.
I got you.
Well,
But yeah.
So here's the thing. So it's also cultural, all right? There people today of the Orthodox Jewish faith still follow this.
Yeah.
So it's again, it's cultural.
Mhm.
You know, like I believe that there might be benefit to this. My brother's not marrying my wife after I die. I'm just like that's not going to happen. Like, you know, well, first he's married.
But
He's married anyway. But like, I'm going to say, listen, you know, babe, you're going to have to marry somebody else. I know it doesn't say that they have. Yeah, no, this I let that be for those of the Orthodox Jewish faith. Like, you're not. But again, if it was to happen, I'm like long gone anyway. Like I'm. Here's what it is.
Now, the one thing because we're gonna get ready to get off of here. The one thing we didn't,
and then let me go because I wasn't even supposed to be here, and I took enough time. But I think
no,
you
you
guys
good.
for your grace.
Look, you good.
I enjoyed it, Harrison.
Yeah.
Nice.
Look,
Good conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah. One thing we didn't even touch on is that we talk about, you know, living together. What if the other person have kids? That's
I wanted to talk about that.
That's another important thing, because guess what? That's even, let's go deeper even, because guess what? You really got to know that woman or man, are they going to love your children unconditionally? So if they can't even love you unconditional, how can they love your children unconditional? How are they going to be able to love you? Their mindset is not even ready. They're not even capable of loving you. So how are they going to love your children? Vice versa, the woman that a man chooses, you already slept with this person. Y'all don't have children together. I said children. Y'all don't have no kids together. But now you sleep with this woman. Guess what? Are they ready to be a father to your children when your children are not listening? They are hyper, you know, they don't listen. So now you got a man coming to live with you, you have children, and guess what? He's not even a father figure. He don't even know how to lead a household. So those are and don't act like women don't do that now. Men do the same thing. Have a woman come and live with her because he got kids. And guess what? She's not ready to be a mother. She's not ready to be a wife. You know, she's just comfortable.
People that's married are not even ready. You know what I'm saying? Like you can do things quote unquote the right way and not live with each other, get married with somebody that have kids already, and you still don't love them. You could say you love them, but you really don't. You might care about them, but you don't love them.
It's why it's not good to live with somebody before
I
you
just
even
said
get to
you
that
can
point.
do it the right way. You can not do that. Get married to somebody that has kids, and then you still don't love them because you're not going to have that same attachment to them. You might care about them, but when you talk about love them like you love them, like no.
I mean,
that's
possible.
99.9%. It's not going to happen, right? Because you know, love is a deep connection, right? Like you coming into a marriage. You wasn't living with them. You come into marriage, y'all live together, they got kids. You're not going to just sit there, oh yeah, I love you. Yes, come on, bro. Come on, that's a falsity right there.
Wow,
99.9% of the time, you might care about them, but that deep connection you're not going to have.
Well, guess what?
That first of all, that would take time. Just like you invested time into that person before y'all got married, y'all invested that time. You ain't invest that time in them kids. So now y'all married, now y'all move in together. You gonna sit there and say, "I love your kids." Stop it! Jump off a cliff.
David, stop it! Stop! See, look,
Nah,
we
yeah, he
didn't have
had me
enough
hot
time
right there,
to
bro.
talk about that.
I know too many people that get married and they be like, "Oh, here comes this little come over here again." You gotta have that deep connection with that child before you can even
No,
talk
you
about
don't. You don't have to
love.
have no deep connection with no kid.
Were you saying something? It sounded like it was breaking up.
She said you don't got no deep connection with no kid.
Who, me? I got kids.
No, what I'm
not
saying
you.
is,
She was saying.
wait. So you were saying that you have to have you're already building this connection with the other person, right? Going into this,
Right.
and you're just like, okay, you don't have a deep you don't have a deep connection with that child to love that child, but it's a package deal.
It's a package deal. You can care about them, but you cannot sit there and honestly say you love that child without that connection. You can't say you love that child. You don't spend that time. You need that bond, just like you need with that man or that woman. You need to come together. You need the bond. You need that time. You need to invest that time in that kid to develop those feelings.
I agree.
Just
No,
because it's a package deal doesn't mean you love them.
I agree.
Any man or woman that sit there and say I love your kids, they're saying it just to appease that man or that woman. Let's be real.
I agree. But for the sake of consistency, right? Because I hear what you're saying, right? Then how can you love the mother, right? And not love the child then eventually?
No, so you said eventually. That's key word. I said you have to develop those feelings. You gotta have that deep connection with that child to get there. So eventually, yes, you can get there. But I'm talking about from the rip. Y'all get married, and then you say, "All right, we married now."
Then that's
now
the wrong point. You're not gonna get married to the person before getting to know the child, right?
That's not true.
Really? Well,
you might speak to them, but when you talk about getting to know somebody, that's time invested.
Yeah.
Right. When you get married and y'all talk about becoming one, all the other stuff is secondary, right? So now you gotta build on them with the kids, right? And that from that point on, you gotta build with those kids. So I know a lot of women, they sit there and say, I don't bring a man around my kids right away. So that now you're taking away that time they could be spending with them. But I understand why women feel that way. It's men that feel that way as well.
Yeah.
So you take away that aspect of it. Now y'all in a relationship. Now y'all focus on each other. Now y'all get married. Y'all move in together. Now you have to develop that with the kids. You can say I care about your kids, but from the rip to say you love them, I'm telling you, bro. Yeah, you need to go to prison for lying, bro. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, I think that's part of like the vetting process also before committing to marriage. If I wasn't married and I was dating somebody with kids, I would make it a priority for me to build a relationship with that child before I marry this woman. Because if I can't develop a close relationship with this child, then we can't be married. I wouldn't wait.
I agree with that.
Until I get married to develop a relationship with the child, because by then it's too late. Now I'm bound to get divorced, because if he comes at me sideways, she's not going to choose me over him, and I would never expect or her, and I would never expect her to. I would never put her in a position to have to choose between me and the children.
Well, we also live in a real world. Let me use my mother for example.
Yeah.
Hey.
No, and that's no.
I'll mute you. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Why? You don't even know what I was gonna say.
Okay, you don't do that.
It's nothing crazy. It's
I
nothing
thought he
crazy.
was into this.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
We got yeah. Go ahead and say it.
It's nothing crazy.
All right.
You remember Kevin?
Yeah.
Mommy was dating Kevin, right?
Right.
Oh, y'all brothers?
Yeah, that's my brother.
Oh, how do you know that?
Yeah. I'm sorry. He was like, you yeah, that's my brother. That's my brother.
We were aware of Kevin, but did we spend time with Kevin? Did we do any of this? And they was engaged. They never got married, thank God. But we never we didn't hear that bonding stage. We knew him. We actually lived in the house and stuff, right? Like it's like I said, he wasn't taking the time out to get to know us like he was mommy, right? Like he channeled his energy, and mommy did the same thing. She channeled her energy into strengthening their relationship. We are children already. She don't have to strengthen that. him being a man, he wanted to strengthen what he had with her. We fell to the wayside, but he knew he acknowledged us, but that bonding, that chemistry was not there.
But we was grown. I was grown already, so it wasn't no really, it wasn't no bond that he needed to have.
I'm talking me and Jarvis.
Yeah,
I'm just
Jarvis,
saying
yeah.
that's the reality of things. When you get in a relationship with somebody, yes, a real man knows or should know that it's a package deal. Right, but like if you don't have that chemistry with that person, I've been in relationships, and I know you got kids, but do we hang out? Do we do all this? No. Especially what if you say, "Oh, I hang out with your kids," and the mother's like, "Oh no, I ain't ready for that." But y'all still in a relationship though. Now y'all building, but you're not building with that child.
Yeah.
Then you get married. You know the kid. Y'all might have shared the same room a couple times, right? So it's about what you do afterwards, right? Like. You can't just. I'm basically just saying you can't just say you love that child because you love the mother. That's crazy.
Well, we're gonna have to end this session because it is like I'm about to get scolded right now. My wife about to kick my butt. She said, "Oh, you've been on here 2 hours? Oh yeah, you gonna have to get a beating."
I thought we ended on top. It's like nice to meet you.
I know. Listen,
hey, you gotta tell us the last one was only an hour, so give me that half hour back, and then we right on schedule.
No. Listen, Harrison, bro, we definitely gonna have you on here again. Melissa, we gonna have you on here again. You already know, Des, you already know. But look, we gonna end this show. Listen, I appreciate everybody coming out. Listen to the conversation. It definitely was a great conversation. Say it again.
I was telling them I will go live. They asked me to go live.
Yeah. So I definitely love it. Guys, always hit the like button, subscribe. Listen, we on here Tuesdays and Wednesdays, 6:30 every week. Listen, love you. We out of here. Peace, guys. Be blessed.
All right.